Hello, folks. My name is Kevin Douglas Berg. I'm here to provoke thought and move humanity just a little bit. This is our third segment of how we got here, in Putin's words. Basically, a playlist dedicated to our path to possibly World War III. I'll rehash a little bit of what he spoke of before on the past episode. He spoke of interactions with United States. George Bush not understanding it's not really a country and it's not really our business. He spoke of expansion of NATO, how he did not want that and did not see that as a functional product of helping anybody on interrelations on the world stage between Russia and NATO, Eastern Bloc and NATO and Russia. He spoke of the states, the other states, if they want to go to NATO, that's fine. And he would not have an issue with their relationship, but he didn't really see the purpose of why they would want to. This is our third episode now, and we are on. We are on 2011. Yeah, we're in 2011 now. Don't worry, I'm going to have this all up there. Don't worry. December 2011. Asked about the white ribbons worn by opposition activists during large-scale protests in 2011. We know about the Orange Revolution in Ukraine. Certain members of the Russian opposition went to Ukraine back then and served as official advisors to President Yushchenko. Naturally, they're bringing these practices back here to Russia. Press conference, government. 2012, July. Russian-Ukraine cooperation is very extensive. Our trade is over 50 billion. The president of Ukraine already mentioned this, and we have every opportunity to increase it manifold in the coming years. President conference after meeting of bilateral interstate commission in Kremlin. 2012 again. We want all cooperation with Europe. Russia wants it, Ukraine wants it, and so do other post-Soviet region countries. Press conference after meeting a bilateral interstate commission in Kremlin. December 2012. In order to reduce national consciousness, we need to link historical eras and get back to understanding the simple truth that Russia did not begin in 1917 or even in 1991, but rather we have a common continuous history spanning over 1,000 years. And we must rely on that to find inner strength and purpose in our national development. I recall one of my meetings with World War II veterans. There were representatives of several ethnicities. Tatars, Ukrainians, Georgians, and ethnic Russians, of course. One of the veterans who was not an ethnic Russian. As far as the entire world is concerned, we are one people. We are Russians. That was true during the war, and it has always been true, addressed the Federal Assembly, Kremlin. Gives you an idea of what he's made of. It's all about old Russia. Many, many years ago. 2013, July. We all know what happened after the Soviet Union collapsed. I will not pass any political judgment on those events. We live in different countries today, but this fact is no way crosses out the common historic past that we share. Actually, when the gate fell, when the wall fell, he was actually on the other side on one of the checkpoints, and he let people go through, but they went to the other side and then they took down that wall. We live in different countries today, but in fact, no way cross out the common historic past that we share. That is our asset and our foundation, upon which we can build new integration ties. Conference on Orthodox Slavic values, the foundation of Ukraine's civilization choice. Kremlin. December 2013. We are now entering a crucial stage in preparing the Eurasian Economic Union Treaty. We expect to have agreed on the treaty's text by May 1st, 2014, and to have submitted it to the Russian, Belarusian, and Kazakhstani parliaments by that time. I am sure the real achievements of Eurasian integration will only enhance our neighbors' interests in it, including that of our Ukrainian partners. Address to Federal Assembly, Kremlin. 2014. There can only be one assessment regarding Ukraine's Maidan Revolution. There can be one assessment. This was an anti-constitutional takeover and armed seizure of power, answering journalists' questions about the Kremlin. At the Kremlin. 2014 again, March. We have always considered Ukraine not only a neighbor, but a brotherly neighboring republic, and will continue to do so. Our armed forces are comrades in arms, friends, many of who know each other personally. I am certain, and I stress, I am certain Ukrainian military and Russian military will not be facing each other. They will be on the same side in a fight. Answering journalists' questions, Kremlin. Everything in Crimea speaks of our shared history and pride. Presidential address, also March 2014. April 2014. Russia has never intended to annex any territories or plan any military operations there in Ukraine, never. Quite to the contrary, we're going to build our relations with Ukraine based on current geopolitical realities. But we also thought and have always hoped that all native Russians, the Russian-speaking people living in Ukraine, would live in a comfortable political environment, that they would not be threatened or oppressed. But when the situation changed and Russians in Crimea were facing exactly that, when they began raising the issue of self-determination, that's when we sat down to decide what to do. Transcript of annual call-in shown Kremlin. Continuing. We wanted to support the residents of Crimea, but also followed a certain logic. If we don't do anything, Ukraine will be drawn into NATO sometime in the future. We'll be told, this doesn't concern you, and NATO ships will dock in Sevastopol, the city of Russia's naval glory. If NATO troops walk in, they'll immediately deploy these forces there. Such a move would be geopolitically sensitive for us because in this case, Russia would be practically ousted from the Black Sea area. We'd be left with just a small coastline of 450 or 600 kilometers, and that's it. In this way, Russia may be really ousted from this region that is extremely important for us, a region for which so many Russians gave up their lives during all the previous centuries. He's a man of history. Transcript of annual call-in shown Kremlin. And we continue in 2014. Russia has always been close to Ukraine and will always remain closely related to it. I'm not talking about the assistance that Russia has been providing to Ukraine for many long years. And I'm sure that we'll get back to the issue. The assistance adds up to hundreds of billions of dollars, but that is not the point. The point is we have extensive common interests. If we want to succeed, we must cooperate in joint efforts. I'm confident they will understand this, and despite all the emotional complications we're seeing today. Transcript of the annual call-in show again. So May 2014. One of the essential conditions for getting dialogue underway is the unconditional end to use of force, whether with the help of the armed forces, which is completely unacceptable in the modern world, or through the use of illegal armed radical groups. Press statements and replies to journalists. Kremlin. Got issues, man. They know they got issues. As for whether proposed measures suit Russia or not, we are not a party to this conflict. The parties to the conflict are in Ukraine itself. Press statements and replies to journalist questions in Kremlin. June 2014. What actually happened to Ukraine was a conflict, and that conflict arose because the former Ukrainian president refused to sign an association agreement with the EU. Russia had a certain stance on this issue. We believe it was indeed unreasonable to sign that agreement because it would have a grave impact on the economy, including the Russian economy. We have 390 economic agreements with Ukraine, and Ukraine is a member of the free trade zone within the CIS. And we wouldn't be able to continue this economic relationship with Ukraine as a member of the free trade zone. We discussed this with our European partners. Instead of continuing the debates by legitimate and diplomatic means, our European friends and our friends from the United States supported this anti-constitutional armed group. That is what happened. So that's what happened in Ukraine. Just giving it all there. October 2014. It is vitally important to instill lofty patriotic values in the younger generation and to actively resist any attempts at reviving the Nazi ideology, fomenting inter-ethnic strife, and falsifying our shared history. Vladimir Putin congratulated veterans of the Great Patriotic War and people of Ukraine on the 70th anniversary of Ukraine's liberation from Nazi Germany. Kremlin. December 2014. Every nation has an inalienable sovereign right to determine its own development path, choose allies and political regimes, create an economic and ensure its security. Russia has always respected these rights and always will. This fully applies to Ukraine and Ukrainian people. It is true that we condemned the government coup and the forceful takeover of power in Kiev in February of this year. The developments we are currently witnessing in Ukraine and tragedy unfolding in the country's southeast prove that we're right to take such a stand, addressed to the Federal Assembly. Do one more quote. I'm going to sum up. Ukraine is a separate and major... September 2015. Ukraine is a separate major issue for us. It is our closest neighbor. We've always said that it is our sister country. It's not only a Slavic people. We have a common history, a common culture, a common religion, and many things in common. What I believe is absolutely unacceptable in the resolution of internal political issues in former USSR republics. Through color revolutions, quote unquote, their coup d'etats through unconditional removal of power. Charlie Rose interview with Putin, 2015. All right, folks. So, what do we got? You got unrest in Ukraine. You already got him saying don't go with NATO and drop your ships right there because that's really our naval stations. It's our head of our naval station. Please don't keep on interfering with what's going on with Ukraine and us and European Union, just back off. Please back off. Back off. But they went with the West and they got, what country to sign this thing? They got, European partners, European friends, and friends of the United States. Supported the anti-constitutional armed coup. There we have it. We're in Ukraine. We already got our big foot in it. We got our big foot in it already. We got him very much aroused. He is very aware of what's trying to go on. Like I said, he thinks 40 steps ahead. He saw NATO expanding on him. And then they put their ships right there. And only that little sliver of land. He's old Mother Russia, man. And he believes in that, and he quotes from that, and he feels like that in his heart, as well as Ukrainian and Russian, like this. My name's Kevin Douglas Berg. This is the third segment of how we got here. In Putin's words, our path to World War III, possibly. With that, we pray. Pray for you, pray for me, pray for world peace. Pray for people coming and going. Pray for those on the plane, train, automobile. Pray for those that are in and out of the hospital on a better day. Pray for those that are served or serving, post-serving, fighting with PTSD. Pray for those in the hospital on a better day. Pray for all medical staff. Pray for all people in uniform. Pray for all policemen, policewomen, firefighters, firewomen. Pray for you and me, world peace. Pray for those that do not have basic necessities, that tomorrow is a better day than today. Pray that we're able to clothe more people, feed more people, give nourishment to more people, and give a place of shelter and clean facilities where they can shower and rest, for a more compassionate world for tomorrow than it is today. Pray for everybody in plane, train, automobile as well. Thank you very much. I'm here to provoke thought. My name's Kevin Berg, here to provoke thought and move me forward. Kevin out. Thanks.